Good morning. Um, I actually recorded this whole video and saw that it wasn't recording, so I'm doing it again. And I wanted to share with you some thoughts that I was having in the moment because I learn more and more that when I don't share in the moment, then I forget my ideas. The feelings behind them kind of get lost. And one thing that I am working on in my life is to express myself in the moment and not hold things in or hold back what I want to share. So, that being said, I wanted to come on this morning and talk to you about what I write about in Unwelcome Inheritance, which is expanding our view and looking at our healing process in a whole different way. And I want to speak to you specifically about what's on my heart this morning, which is asking ourselves if we are open to the possibility of things getting better, specifically with your parent or parents or whoever that person is in your life that has caused you to relate to adult children of alcoholics. Are you open to the possibility of things getting better? The reason why I ask the question is because I believe, and I hope, and I believe that we are not the only ones that are wanting healing, wanting to evolve, to grow, to change. That perhaps that alcoholic or addict or that person in our lives that has caused us the pain that we're in, perhaps that person has also been looking for the help that they need, finding support so that they can address their problems and what they've done in the past, how they've hurt you or other people in their lives. Perhaps that person is also growing and also evolving. And I don't, I, it makes me very sad to see, which I see in many cases, and understandably so. This is not about judgment. This is just about an open conversation. It makes me sad to think that there can be healing in a relationship, but that we are still so needing to protect ourselves that we cannot be open to the possibility of the future being different than the past. I never ask anybody to do something that I haven't done myself. Um, Actually, all of what I bring to you is from what I have learned from all of you over 30, 40 years of talking to so many children of alcoholics and people who identify with this journey, whatever your walk of life is. And also because I have literally twisted myself inside out trying to understand the experience, try to figure out what the healing needs to be, how to do it. And so this is something that is very important to me because because families are broken. Families are broken that where there could be healing. And I feel that where there is possibility, that we should go for it. So I'll give you an example. I meet a lot of people who come from very difficult pasts, like I do. Um, I grew up in a household where my father, and and no shade to my dad, he's 48 years sober, and he has done his work, and he has made his amends and transformed himself. And and so the example that I want to lead with is an example that I made the conscious decision to kind of take the temperature of the relationship with my dad, see where he was at. Is he the same guy? Is there a possibility for things getting better? And this is a long time ago now. I mean, I basically cut him off and wished him dead until I was somewhere, I don't know, I guess things started changing when my mother died, because it was an opportunity for him to step in and be a dad. And I needed that at the time. And so I became open, and our relationship just grew and has just continued to grow over the years. But it was because I made a conscious decision to be open, to get to know him for where he was at today. Because if we are all growing and evolving, then in my mind, that means that there are possibilities that weren't there before. So, not easy, certainly not easy, right? I mean, here we are, we've been stuck in fight or flight for all these years, right? And still hurt, right? I mean, the thing about even if our alcoholic or otherly addicted parent or caregiver, whoever it is, even if they are in recovery, it's very easy for us to stay angry because, you know what, we're still living out the repercussions, right? Our lives have unfolded in a certain way based on trauma, um, and and based on these unhealthy dynamics that were our earliest experience, based on the body chemistry that we were born with, right? Our lives have unfolded in a certain way. And so while I completely understand that it's not fair for that other person, maybe, you know, maybe they're doing great and you see they're living a beautiful life today and yet you're still in pain. It's not fair. I get that. It's not fair. Like, you know, we're still dragging that bag of rocks around. But we can put it down. Um, and even though what I'm saying that is not fair is that here we are, when I say living out the repercussions, you know, we have problems in our relationships. We have problems with self-esteem. We have these ongoing issues. And it's very easy to think, well, why should that person be off the hook? You know, how come they're doing great and I'm not? But I'm just asking you to kind of open up the lens and look at a bigger picture for a few moments, because when we are able to let go of that, when we find some amount of healing, and this is my experience, what I've learned from all of you and what I know about really digging deep inside myself, is that part of the reason why we continue to resent and not want to be in relationship or have really rigid boundaries with those who have hurt us is because we are still struggling because of that. And when we can work through some of these things, the resentment lessens, because it really has so much to do with the fact that we're still hurting. So, okay, maybe I'm not being very articulate. I'll try to say it a different way. If you weren't struggling so much in your life today, there would be no reason to be angry, right? Because you would be okay. So the resentment has to do with the fact of this ongoing pain. And so what I'm proposing as part of the solution is to take the temperature of the relationship that you most are resistant to and see if there are possibilities for healing. Why should you be the one to do it? Why not? Is it easy? No. It can be very hard, but we don't have to take an all or nothing approach to it. We don't have to, we don't have to be we don't have to be so anxious about taking this big step that we're paralyzed and we can't do it. we can take a very small step. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is I had a very close family member, our relationship completely broken. If I told you the story, you would tell me I was 1,000% right and he was 100,000% wrong. I promise you would. However, after 5 or 6 years, the pain for me was too much for me to stay entrenched in my position, even though I was right. And I say that like with air quotes. Um, in my view, people say there are two sides to every story. In my view, that person didn't get a side, right? And I felt that way about my dad for a long time. He doesn't get a side because of what he did. But in any case, I just decided to follow I was just very pulled one day to just send him an email and say, just wanted to say hi. That's all I said, just wanted to say hi. And a relationship was born. Little by little by little by little by little. And same kind of thing with my dad. I remember when my mother died, and up until I was 29 years old when she died. And up until that point, my father was, I didn't even remember him, that he was alive a lot of the time. I had complete resentment for him. I just had I was numb to him. And at the cemetery, at my mother's funeral, literally while her casket was being lowered into the ground, I was just looking out at all the people, and my dad and I locked eyes. And I can't even describe the feeling. Like, I felt like he had my back in that moment. And things just started to grow, little tiny, little. And he's a completely transformed person. And because we're able to have a relationship now, for example, my children can have a relationship with him. I don't have to be a person who has children that never see their grandfather. Everything kind of shifts around to create, to kind of accommodate the new circumstances. So if there's a new openness, and even just, instead of seeing your parents, once a year and you're in and out, and it's, you have tremendous anxiety a month before you go and you're recovering a month afterwards, maybe do it differently. Maybe plan something that you feel would be more successful. I'm just suggesting an update. My mom used to have a saying. She would say, keep it current. If she thought that somebody was talking out of their past, she would say, keep it current. And so I guess in a nutshell, what I'm proposing is just the idea of keeping this relationship current, seeing where it is at today, and not assuming that it will always be the way it has always been, if there is a possibility for change. If you want to talk about this, anymore, please leave comments below, send me a message, tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll just keep it going. This is really the premise of my book, Unwelcome Inheritance, Break Your Family's Cycle of Addictive Behavior, is this idea of looking at your family in a bigger context. How did I get to be who I am? Well, I'm pretty clear about that. But what about other people in my life? How did they get to be who they are? Not to diminish our experience, none of that. Not to negate anything at all. I'm just saying, just to look, and just to kind of, instead of looking at life the same way we've always looked at it, just kind of, look at it from a different vantage point. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for listening. And please comment below, and I'm going to repost this as a YouTube video. I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, and leave comments below. It lets me know that you would like more content and that I should keep going.